Visitors are even being told by their home countries to take their vacations and money elsewhere.
Horror stories are emerging of treatment at the border, with one story so shocking it's got many asking if America's still safe.
Something's shifting along the Ontario-New York border, and it's not just the weather. The roads are still paved, the duty-free shelves still full, and the welcome signs still greet every traveler with a smile. But there's a growing silence, one that can't be ignored. The usual stream of Canadian cars crossing into the U.S. has thinned out dramatically, and it's a full-on collapse. Cross-border road trips from Canada have plunged by over 35% in just 1 year. That's not a slowdown, that's a freefall. And every sign points to a deeper unraveling still to come. The silent collapse of American tourism. Across airports, theme parks, and hotel check-ins in some of the most visited cities in the country, a quiet shift is underway. The crowds are thinning. The buzz of international languages, once a constant background hum in places like Times Square or Disneyland, is fading. Visitors from Mexico, China, the UK, Germany, and dozens of other nations are staying home. But this isn't due to health scares or global unrest. The root cause is far less visible, yet far more deliberate: tariffs. And along with retaliatory politics, inflation, and diplomatic friction, they're draining the American tourism industry of its international lifeline. By the end of the year, the U.S. is projected to lose over $12 billion in foreign tourist spending. That's not a forecast. It's the reality already in motion. And that number doesn't even begin to capture the full damage. Since 2021, after the trade war ramped up, the United States has bled more than $30 billion in lost tourism revenue. If the trajectory holds, that figure will explode past $200 billion by the close of 2025. It's happening quietly without headlines, but the financial toll is massive. Back in 2019, international tourists poured nearly $200 billion into the U.S. economy. That single stream of spending supported over 1 million jobs, from hotel workers in Manhattan to tour guides in Los Angeles. Cities like Orlando, New York, and San Francisco thrived off the traffic. That wave has since weakened dramatically. Data shows international tourist spending has dropped 22% from its high point before tariffs began reshaping global behavior. And this isn't a typical market fluctuation. It's a targeted, emotional, and economic backlash, where tourism is becoming a tool for protest. Take Canada. For decades, it has been the largest source of foreign visitors to the U.S. But after new rounds of American tariffs on Canadian goods, the response was swift. A soft boycott gained momentum across Canadian media and political circles. Citizens were urged to stay local, spend money in Canadian towns, not American ones. The idea was simple: support home, not the source of economic pressure, and the numbers show it worked. In February, Canadian border crossings into the U.S. fell 23%. By April, the plunge deepened to more than 35% compared to the previous year. That drop alone is causing ripple effects across border economies. The U.S. Travel Association warns that even a 10% reduction in Canadian visitors could slash over $2 billion from the annual tourism income. Right now, losses are easily double that. Some Canadian analysts believe nearly $9 billion that would have been spent in American cities is now being circulated domestically, in places like Montreal, Ottawa, and Vancouver. The boycott reshaped travel behavior on a national scale, and what started as a protest over tariffs has turned into a strategic economic shift. And it's not limited to North America. Across Europe, signs of discontent are multiplying. Tourists from France, Germany, and the UK are pulling back. Some are reacting to political tensions, others to the hassle of new entry rules and tighter screening. Earlier this year, Germany released a travel advisory warning its citizens that even with proper paperwork, entry into the United States wasn't guaranteed. That one line raised eyebrows across the EU. Then came more tariffs. Duties on European goods like wine, cheese, and industrial metals reached as high as 200%, sparking anger and retaliation. The result? Fewer tourists, fewer bookings, and more redirected travel plans. According to the World Travel and Tourism Council, the U.S. now stands alone among major nations in experiencing an outright decline in international tourism spending. The hidden cost of tariffs. And now we come to the kind of tariffs that don't get stamped on cargo or scanned at customs, the kind that quietly reshape entire economies. These aren't labeled or declared, but they hit just as hard: higher operating costs. Tariffs on materials like imported steel and aluminum have driven up prices across industries. Hotels are more expensive to construct or remodel, airlines face rising maintenance costs, and restaurant owners are watching their supply bills balloon. In the end, the added expense lands squarely on travelers. Whether booking a hotel room, buying a plane ticket, or dining out, the prices keep climbing, and fewer people are willing to pay. The effective tariff rate in the US is now brushing 30%, a level not seen since the economic chaos of the 1930s. With those costs rippling through the system, vacationing in America has become noticeably more expensive, not just for overseas visitors, but also for families within the country. And the consequences are stacking up quickly. Major airlines, Delta, United, Southwest, have slashed their earnings forecasts this year. The problem isn't safety concerns or fear of flying, it's demand. People are still traveling, but they're picking destinations where their dollar goes further. Places that offer similar experiences without the inflated price tags. Economic uncertainty has turned travel into a luxury, and for international tourists, the obstacles go beyond airfare and hotel rates. A strong US dollar means their money doesn't stretch as far. Combine that with lingering political tension and complex entry restrictions, and many are deciding it's just not worth the hassle. Instead of visiting the US, travelers from Europe, Asia, and Latin America are choosing alternative destinations. Countries that feel more welcoming, less expensive, and less politically charged. The World Bank has already revised its projections for US economic growth, cutting the forecast to 1.4%, half of last year's rate. That slowdown is hitting the tourism economy where it hurts. In Las Vegas, hotel occupancy has dipped. In Florida, Disney parks are reporting noticeable drops in foreign attendance. And on Broadway, theaters are playing to smaller, more local crowds. The ripple effect is powerful, and it's driven by one key reality. International tourists spend significantly more than domestic ones. They stay longer, they splurge more. So when a traveler from Germany or Brazil cancels a US vacation, the economic loss doesn't end with an unused hotel room. It hits the restaurants, the shops, the shows, the taxis, and that loss multiplies fast. This isn't just a setback for one industry. This is an issue with national consequences. The tourism sector is one of America's strongest and most overlooked exports. When a traveler from overseas spends money in Los Angeles, Miami, or Chicago, that money counts as an inflow to the US, just like cars or electronics. But when tariffs trigger retaliation and political tension drive visitors away, those exports begin to collapse quietly. And right now, that collapse is already underway. Adding another layer to the crisis is the growing influence of international politics. Countries aren't just retaliating through tariffs anymore. They're using travel itself as a diplomatic tool. Governments aren't issuing official bans, but they are nudging citizens toward different choices. In Canada, the message has been loud and clear. Take vacations at home, not in the US. It's not about punishment, it's about pride and policy. The effect has been profound. Other nations, including Germany and China, have followed suit with subtle campaigns that send the same message: spend your money elsewhere. This is what soft power looks like today. Not military threats or closed embassies, but a kind of cold shoulder that hits wallets instead of borders. For American businesses, hotels, restaurants, entertainment venues that depend on international guests, the result is a slow bleed that's hard to stop. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, but it's happening every single day. There are ways this could change. Talks between US and Chinese officials have resumed, with recent meetings in London hinting at a possible thaw. There's been some optimism, with both sides reportedly open to easing tariffs in select sectors. If those talks move forward, it could send a strong global signal that America is reopening, not just for trade, but for tourism. But even with a diplomatic breakthrough, recovery won't be instant. Trust takes time to rebuild, and the investments delayed by years of uncertainty won't return overnight. The US travel industry will need more than just a policy shift. It will need structural fixes, faster visa processing, clearer travel rules, and campaigns designed to repair America's image as a travel destination. Competing countries like Thailand, France, and Mexico are already moving fast, streamlining entry rules and launching promotions aimed at winning over global tourists. If the US doesn't match that energy, it risks falling behind in a game it once dominated.